In the twilight of the gods, when fire and ice distort a pall over the heavens, one soul balanced on the threshold of shredding the fabric of fate. Loki Laufeyjarson, trickster god, danced the edge of destiny, his heart torn apart by the family he called his own, and the devastation he was fated to wreak. While the 9 worlds trembled and Asgard's golden spires faltered in the shadows of fate, the prophecy of Ragnarök stirred, a maelstrom that would spare none, not even the gods themselves. The omens crept forth like thieves in the night, subtle at first, then undeniable. In the shadowed wilds, Fenrir, the great wolf and Loki's son, strained against Gleipnir, the enchanted chain that bound him, his howls shattering the silence of the realms. Beneath the seas, Jörmungandr, the Midgard serpent, tightened his coils around the world, his thrashing sending waves to batter Midgard's shores. In the misty depths of Niflheim, Hel, Loki's daughter, surveyed her realm of the slain, her half-living, half-felled face calm as she marshaled the shades of the fallen. The heavens bore grim witness. Fimbulwinter descended, a merciless cold that cloaked the worlds in ice and snow. Stars faded from the sky, retreating from the chaos below. From Muspelheim, firestorms flared on the horizon, their molten glow clashing with the ice winds of Niflheim, a prelude to the cataclysm that loomed ever closer. In the radiant halls of Asgard, where golden spires pierced the clouds, Loki had dwelt among the Aesir for centuries. To Odin All-Father, he was once a sworn brother. Their blood mingled in an oath beneath the roots of Yggdrasil, the world tree, in an era of fragile peace. Thor, the Thunderer, had shared laughter with Loki, though his patience wore thin with each prank. Sif's shorn hair, Idun's stolen apples. Freya's beauty enchanted him. Tyr's honor challenged him. Yet Loki's giant-born nature marked him as an outsider, a shadow among the divine. His cunning shaped their world. Through his wiles, the gods gained treasures. Thor's hammer Mjolnir, Odin's spear Gungnir, gifts born of Loki's schemes. But his mischief darkened over time. The slaying of Baldur, the radiant god of light, was his gravest betrayal. Driven by envy and resentment, Loki guided the blind herder's hand, a mistletoe dart piercing Baldur's heart. The funeral pyre blazed across the heavens, and with it, the Aesir's trust in Loki crumbled. Hunted for his crime, he evaded their wrath for a time, but the stain of betrayal clung to him, a wound that would not heal. As the omens multiplied, the prophecy of Ragnarök cast its pall over the 9 worlds. The Völva's ancient words, once whispered to Odin, now resounded. The wolf would break free, the serpent would rise, the giants would march, and the gods would fall. Loki's name was etched into this doom, father of monsters, harbinger of chaos. His children, Fenrir, Jörmungandr, and Hel, were its instruments, their fates entwined with his own. Yet a question lingered in the trickster's heart. Was he bound by destiny, or could he forge a different path? In Valhalla's large hall, shield-lined and heavy with foreboding, Odin summoned the Aesir. "The signs are clear," he said, his voice a distant thunder. "Ragnarök comes, we must prepare." Thor gripped Mjolnir, lightning flickering in his hand, vowing to slay Jörmungandr. Tyr, unfazed by his lost hand, planned the defense of Bifröst, the Rainbow Bridge. Freya donned her falcon cloak, her warriors radiant with holy anger. But their eyes kept drifting to Loki, standing apart, a figure both kin and stranger. Suspicion was palpable, an unspoken accusation that he had unleashed this calamity upon them. Loki left the council, his mind a maelstrom of doubt. The beauty of Asgard, its crystal streams, its radiant halls, appeared a vision receding, to be scorched and consumed. Could fate be averted? He sought the Norns, the goddesses of fate, at the well of Erd beneath the roots of timeless Yggdrasil. Eternal mist shimmered in the air as he bowed before them, imploring revelations. Erd, her face carved with the weight of ages, spoke. "The past is unyielding, Loki. Your choices have shaped this path." Verdandi, her eyes fixed on the present, added, "The now is yours to mold, if only for a fleeting moment." Skuld, veiled in shadow, offered no words, her silence a mirror to the uncertain future. Their cryptic counsel sparked a faint hope. Perhaps Loki's will could bend the threads of fate, if only slightly. Loki turned to his children, seeking to understand their roles and perhaps to sway them. On the Isle of Lyngvi, Fenrir loomed, his black fur gleaming, his eyes alight with defiance. "The gods bound me out of fear," he growled. "When these chains break, Odin will fall." His rage echoed Loki's own, born of rejection, Yet the trickster grieved for the son he could not save. In the darkness of the sea, Jörmungandr's scales glowed like molten iron, his coils vast and relentless. "The time approaches," he spat, venom dripping from his fangs. "Thor and I will meet as foes." Loki's pleas for another way were ignored as the serpent slipped beneath the waves. In Niflheim, Hel waited, her cold realm churning with whispers. "The slain do my bidding," she answered, her voice soft and steady. "This is our birthright." In her two gazes, Loki saw his own divided soul, love and doom entwined. Every counsel deepened his pain. His children, like him rejected by the Aesir, bore his pain, their destinies pulling him to the edge of foresight. In Asgard, the gods made ready for war. Bifröst shone under the tread of armored warriors, its bright colors dulled by the darkness that gathered. Thor's hammer burned with rage, Tyr's sword gleamed with purpose, and Odin's ravens scouted the oncoming foes. Yet a quiet terror stalked through their ranks, for the prophecy spared none. The ground shook as Surtur's fire giants came marching out of Muspelheim, their rivers of molten lava marking the earth. The eternal winter tightened its grasp, and the skies darkened. The last stars extinguished. On the horizon loomed Naglfar, the ship of the slain, its hull of fallen nails slicing through the waves with hell at its bow. As the armies closed in, Loki stood alone, centuries weighing on his shoulders. He had loved Asgard, its laughter, its feasts, its moments of belonging that never lasted. He had hated it too, the suspicion, the contempt, the bonds they tried to hold him with after Baldur was slain. Now, with worlds collapsing, he could see no redemption, no going back. Fate's tapestry was unforgiving, his part in it unavoidable. Nevertheless, Loki made his choice, not out of hatred but necessity. If Ragnarök was the end, it could also be a start, a fire to burn away the old world. With resolve, he stood with the armies of chaos, his children with him, ready to face the gods he had once called family. The reckoning started on the plains of Vigrid, a battleground plain where fate would be settled. Divine light fragmented and fell in splinters like broken glass. Wolf shadows ghostly wove in and out of combat, and runic sigils burned on battle-worn armor, their light extinguished on each fallen warrior. Steel on steel and beasts, roar deafened all. Odin fought Fenrir, Gungnir shining as the wolf's jaws closed, ending the Allfather's reign. Thor and Jörmungandr clashed, thunder and poison, their struggle shaking the earth. Both were felled, locked in doom's embrace. Loki met Heimdall, guardian of Bifröst, his gaze locking with the others across the carnage. "Here it ends," said Heimdall. "As it must," replied Loki. Their swords met, a clash of old foes and silent respect until they fell as one. Surtur's flame sword swept across the battlefield, engulfing the world in a sea of fire. The oceans swelled, taking what the fire spared. The halls of Asgard fell, Bifröst shattered, and the 9 worlds dissolved into darkness. Out of the ashes, a dim light flickered. The fires went out, the waters receded, and a single green spear of grass pushed up through the ruin, a fragile promise of renewal. Ragnarök had claimed the gods, but life would not fade. New gods came, children of survivors, to rule a world renewed. The myths of the Aesir became legends, whispered by mortals crouched around dying fires. Legends of pride, betrayal, and the relentless march of fate. Loki's name would echo in those tales. The trickster who brought the end, the father of doom, the brother who betrayed. But perhaps, too, they would speak of him as one who grappled with destiny, who bore the cost of his choices. And who, in the final moments, glimpsed beyond the ruin to the faint hope of a new dawn.